Okay? And I'm just saying that that is really how the woman works, is that by the quality of nurturing, the quality of concern and care that she has, and her alignment with the invisible forces that she continuously calls upon to protect the family, to enlighten herself, to protect and guide her children when they're not in her presence, etc., that everybody feels this and reveres this. And when you have a righteous woman like this, no one likes to tell her no. And see, and that is what I find is really virtuous in being a righteous woman, is that when you really stand for the highest and your whole dedication is to bring heaven on earth, perhaps people can't verbalize it in the way that I can, but they sense this goodness that they always want to be in alignment with and oblige. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I have found that, as I've cleaned my act up and then really focused myself, I travel a lot all around the world. I have 4 wonderful children, which they're all grown, etc. But I've never had a day's problem out of them because the agreement was that if I do the work to enlighten other women and their seed, that my seed has to be divinely protected and guided. So that whatever the father is that needs to be present at the moment, or the mother that needs to be present, so that my seed is always kept on track. I demand it of the Creator that has to be the case if I'm going out here, that it's my destiny this lifetime to look out for the seeds of others. And that commitment, that pact has never been broken because I've kept my side of the bargain. And so I'm saying that you have to understand as women that we have this kind of global hookup, that we don't have to be everything, okay, all of the time, that we have all of these other intercessories that will support us if we're able to be righteous and be on point. So what do you think you say now?
The vulture is the feminine symbol.
Oh, yes.
It's a spiritual symbol. And Igbo, this is the vulture.
Yeah, you can't kill the vulture.
That's correct.
Let me say, the Igbo women fought a war against the English in 1929. They still cannot understand how women in an area 3 times the size of England were able to gather in 3 days and attack the British without a telephone, without fax, without telecommunication. They gathered. And what they found were vultures. You don't kill the tree that bears fruit. So,
there's some information that's come out about the bilbo or the bulbo gland, concerning how the woman reproduces without a man. Do you know anything about this?
It's called parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is the term, and women have always been able to produce other women. Okay, they cannot produce males because we don't carry the Y chromosome, so that occurs at this point in our evolution through cross-fertilization. Okay, but women have always been able to do that. It's called parthenogenesis. And women still to this day suffer from incomplete atrophy of fetuses that spontaneously begin to grow inside of her. And they're known as dermoid cysts. So many times these are still appendages that from the fertilized, or should I say from the ovum, that have double X chromosomes in them that went on to mature into a human being. They just become a tritic, as we call it, or they just die out. So you still have the bones and the hair and the teeth and things like that. So when you do an ultrasound or x-ray, you can see these calcified hard structures. And when you remove that cyst, this is the remnants of the individual that normally would have matured. But see, part of what happened when the religious crusades came in, etc., even before then, when it was felt that the patriarchy must reign, that right now in the basement of the Vatican, the Barbary libraries, all this kind of information, much of it is still right here, also in England, in the Museum of History, that is still being compensated and kept from women about how they operate, period. So I mean, this is just real old information. And again, as I said, this intellectual decapitation of the woman, but the use of her body to bring forth, all kind of abominations into this dimension is still what we're suffering from.
Would that blow out the old virgin birth concept, because Mary reproduced supposedly without any male presence, but she but she brought forth a male child.
But what you have to understand still, that what we're still talking about is yin and yang, or electromagnetic, or centripetal, or centrifugal forces. Okay, and now, as I said, I'm not a religious archaeologist or a religious, I don't know if there's physicians that specialize in religious anatomy or whatever. I had to study the Bible to deal with the phenomenon that I'm seeking as far as immortality, but those kind of stories to me are still gray because I let Mother Nature teach me. Okay, right now where I stand is that the latest information I got is that Jesus Christ was a twin. Okay, and Thomas was his twin brother, and that he and Thomas were one pregnancy out of 8 others. Okay, that she was sexually active and just a woman's mother. And that his wife, Jesus Christ's wife, Mary Magdalene, was the first female pope of Rome. So I mean, I can take you on some stuff. I can take you on some stuff. So I am still trying to download what is really happening there. All I know is that I'm still channeling information out of the Robert Library in the Vatican. Okay, but my request has always been to just really deal with the issues that I have at hand regarding immortality, because they have one of the greatest libraries on that. And that's why I'm saying that it's such an awesome situation when you see the Pope every day, hail and have to announce a new frailty when they actually sit on the 10th place that were taken out of the temples in Egypt, but they don't have the genetic structure to directly access them. See, we have a genetic structure, and their willingness to be like the plants in the meadows at the foot of the Mount Rainier is how they get the blessing. So they're not willing to relinquish the control yet. Okay. So that's why he every day gets a new fracture and a new infirmity. See, he's catching hell every day because of what he's sitting on, but they don't want to relinquish the control yet of the information. So I'm just saying that, for me that's great. Do you know Doc? So she has some loud information on that. All I know is that, the Virgin Mary, was black. Okay, she was a very heavily melanated black woman, as Jesus Christ was, and the whole line of which now becomes the Templar?
The
Knights Templar family line. See, the Knights Templar is a family line of that whole descendancy that still right now is being kept underground in Italy somewhere or whatever. But yes, women can reproduce without veils. And you have to understand that when you go to the future, which is our past, is that we never ever reproduced physically from the beginning when we were in our highest energetic states. Is that to reproduce another human being was always a mental projection. That the male and female came together in consciousness. The body was immediately constructed and the individual got up and walked off.
If I can make a comment, for me that's what makes women the god, rather than what's been conceived as God being a male person or a male being. The fact that
so if I'm a goddess, then anything that comes out of my uterus is a goddess or a god.
No, sorry, we can't take any more questions now. The restaurant people, they have their set to a very strict time pattern, so we push it a bit at the moment. But please join me in thanking Dr.